There, this is Austin. This is episode, I think, 4 or 5. I haven't posted in a couple days. I think the last time I posted was last Thursday. I know I said I was gonna try to post every single day, and I'd been consistent. In my defense, I have been like everything has been super crazy with traveling. Currently in Arizona. I know I mentioned in the previous videos that I was gonna go on college visits, so we flew in, I think, Saturday. Yeah, Saturday night. Chilled Sunday, kind of got acclimated. Monday, Tuesday, I had my visit on Monday with ASU. Visit on Tuesday today at University of Arizona. Um, I'll kind of go over like a little bit of the stuff with between the two schools, but I liked both in their own regards. I talked today to the director, like the like executive director of the entrepreneurship school at University of Arizona, which was really good. Um, I got really good vibes from him, just very like down to earth, um, relatable, which was really good. So I got a really good vibe from that. But and ASU was also great. I feel like it's in a really good spot with the city and everything. So I do like both campuses. But ultimately, I'm like weighing out my options. I'm gonna probably go on like 4 or 5 more visits in the fall. So big deal with that. I'll kind of go over some of the stuff in a little, like maybe another video, potentially. Maybe like I'll do like a thing where it's like talking about my grad schools. But yeah, so like I said, I haven't been posting. I haven't posted the past couple of days. Everything's been kind of hectic, but um, got a little bit of stuff done at the airport with um, I think I mentioned like I set a task to get stuff done at the airport for Android, and we did. I basically got like sent in credentials and got all that stuff for the next step of like applying for the developer account and getting the code on there. So I did that, and had to wait another day or two to hear back, and then so today I believe I got approved for like my developer access. So now we're basically uploading the app and everything like that, and then they're testing it, all this stuff, which it's good. But yeah, so it has been like very taking small steps. I'm doing like a ton right now with all of this, and being in a different atmosphere is very like offsetting, which isn't a bad thing. Just very like I feel like my normal structure in my day-to-day life is in a box in our consistent routine, and like when I step out of that, I feel like I don't know, it takes a little bit of adjusting to get to. So that's kind of where I'm at now. I feel like very this will kind of be just like a I don't know, like a little bit more of like a talking about like just the headspace because I think that's kind of what I want this one to be. Um, it's currently like 11:30 p.m. here in Arizona, so back in my hometown it'd be almost 3 in the morning. So, and I'm still on that sleep schedule. So I'm been up since 6 a.m. here, or like 5:30. Um, just like very like stressed and like very unsettled. Um, I try to be like very optimistic with like a lot of the stuff in my life where I like have a positive outlook and like have like I work hard. I do things basically to set myself up for the future. I do things that I love, but I also keep in the back of my head like that things are realistic. Like some things happen, some things don't happen, some things you can control and some things you can't. And my basically what I try to do is work and try to control and basically do as much as that I can to where then when I'm given an opportunity, I can take it and then it works out in my favor. Like that's kind of the hope, that's kind of the plan, that's kind of the grind for it. But it's hard. I think like the big thing that I'm just like struggling with right now, and it's not per se like a struggle, but it's like managing optimistic views and placing those into place with real life scenarios and where that fits in your timeline with your career and you know what that looks like. You know, um, for example, me going to grad school, like that's kind of like a precautionary thing. I'm very interested in going to grad school to like further my education, but another benefit of that is I have the ability for an additional 2 years to kind of grind to get out of my to get out of the kind of the corporate 9 to 5s. Like I want to build my own things. And I feel like that's like difficult when you're kind of hit with the reality of like once you graduate, you have like life hits, you know? Um, and like I said, I try to have it figured out. I try to be optimistic. I feel like what I have now is probably miles ahead of some other people. And but that's not like not saying that's in a cocky way, but like I have put in work. I have put in the hours. I have basically started from the ground up and built. And so, like I said, it's taken me 2 years to get to the point where I'm at. I still haven't seen any revenue. So, you know, it's it's one of those things that like it's just putting like putting it all into perspective, right? Like what am I going to be happy with, but at the same time I need to put food on the table. And that's just kind of like the weird thought mindset that I'm in right now with what I'm doing like and that ultimately weighs into kind of the grad school that I do choose. Um, we'll play it by ear. Like I said, if things happen, but before the end of next school year, before I go to grad school, and it makes the decision a little bit easier, then it does, you know. But yeah, and another thing too is just like I have been in the same kind of environment for the past 4 years. And like I said, I'm good at what I'm like. I'm in a good environment. I've put myself in a good environment. I put myself around good people. Um, and like I said, I live in a box. I go through a daily structured life. I go and do all these things, and when I'm out of that, then things kind of start to fizzle. Like I said, I haven't, and I know this seems is like a vacation per se, but I don't like that. Like I stress about the future, you know, and so when I am not doing things to proactively work towards that, it stresses me out because I feel like I'm falling behind. I feel like I'm losing it. There's not a glimpse of light coming in anymore. Like I'm just caving in, which isn't like that's probably not a good, that's probably unhealthy, but you know, that's how like fixated I am on it. Um, but then another thing too is just like within that environment, like uh, how far do I go? You know, me living in Indiana my whole entire life, moving out to the west or the east coast, the west coast, like moving out literally to Arizona, to California, to Colorado, like a state like that, Texas, like that's a freaking 2,000, 3,000 mile difference. It's a 26-hour car ride from here to my house. Like that's not, and that's the closest support system that I have. So it's just difficult to kind of like say, I have personal growth and I know that if I get into another environment like I put myself in whenever I went to IU, that I will grow. I know I will, but it ultimately is the thing that says how far does that go, and where along the lines do I need? 'Cause I mean, I just turned 21. Like I try to act like I've got all this stuff figured out. I try to act like all that, but it does get to me. Like it does bear the kind of like I said, having an optimistic view, and then you kind of realize you just take a breath and you're like, okay, like, you know, like maybe things aren't that all that right now. And so it's hard, you know. Um, I wish I could see myself in like 5 years to see what I did and where I ended up. I'm sure I'll probably look back at this video, and like I said, this is kind of the cool part about doing these journalism things is like I'm gonna have this forever. But yeah, like I ultimately stress now. Um, I would 100% miss my family. I would 100% miss my friends. But and I know that I'd make new friends, and I know that my family would visit and all these things. But it's just like I said, the consistency, the routine of basically because in my view is I'm doing something that has no structure. You know, like I'm making things that out of basically nothing, and there's no structure to that. That's basically just like full creativity, like whatever. There's nothing like when I wake up in the morning, I'm trying to make a successful business, and there's nothing that I can read. There's no step-by-step guidelines. There's no classes you can take. There's nothing that's just going to simply get you from there to there. There's nothing. And with that, that's not secure, you know, that's not consistency, that's not routine based, that's not, there's a lot of outlying like factors. And so my whole view of kind of the way I go about things in my day-to-day life is control the things that you can control. So I go to the gym, I eat specific meals throughout the day. I'll have a coffee in the morning. It's very structured, you know. And so then when I do have that time of just sitting down, working, doing all these things, there's flexibility with it, and it works. It works. So that's kind of where like it's just weird because it's like now I'm going to say like, you know, I'm going into a completely new environment with completely new people. I don't have any friends. I don't have any family, and I don't know the area. You know, I know it takes time to get to that point, but it's just like you're out there, you know. Um, but it's like but in it and it's cool too to see like I love the whole exploration thing. I love that, you know, like I only know how much of myself from what I've the experiences and things that I've been through, and so I think that it would be great to kind of get out of what I'm used to, but at the same time, like I said, I'm doing good right now, you know. It's not being I'm happy but I'm not satisfied, and but at the same time I'm curious. I'm curious. I'm happy, but I'm not satisfied, and I'm curious. I'm curious as to if I do something, what will change. I'm curious, and that's kind of the thing that pushes me. It's like if you have the ability to, like I said, 5, 10 years down the line, am I going to look back and ask this question, like, or think back and wish that I would have done something differently? Wish that I would have taken the leap sooner. Wish that I would have kind of gone and experienced more places than what I know, you know? And it's hard because like no one in my family's done it. I'm 20 years old. I'm 21 years old by myself. No money. Like I kind of have a job, but it's part-time. I'm gonna be in loans, like, and it's just for the hopes that it works out one day. And so like that's kind of the spot where I'm at now. It feels a little bit better talking about it, but you know, at the end of the day, it's like you don't know. And so I'm gonna keep trying to work at it. I'm gonna keep grinding my ass off. And I honestly, like, this is making me even want to push more for the business right now and get to the point where I believe it can be before the time comes that I have to make that decision, you know. And I think that'll kind of be my determinant. And it's it's a question of how far can I push myself in this next year in personal growth, in brand growth, in the business growth, you know, mindset growth, everything. how far can I push myself to make that decision? So, yeah. So, I'll see you guys probably tomorrow. If not tomorrow, here soon, because I get back in a couple days, like one day. I have one more day. So, I might just chill and relax, but there's a good chance. I think I think it'd be good to kind of hear about like the day after this whole thing, because it's freaking 1 a.m. or midnight right now. So, can't sleep. But yeah.